Well, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a tough one. Today we're going to figure out and we're going to find out if we're being brainwashed by Democrats. It's going to get real today. You better buckle up. This is going to be a journey. Let's see. Let's see what they're about to say, bro. They're about to wake us up, apparently. Let's see.
While discussing how to win the minority vote on MSNBC with Nicole Wallace, one guest suggested that scaring people into voting Democrat might be the best choice.
Campaigns, we gotta give them a reason to feel they have skin in the game, that this is important to them, that losing democracy is important to them. And whether or not it be telling women that, you know what, women, you think you're losing your rights now? What do you think is going to happen if we don't have democracy? You know what, African Americans, particularly African American men who are showing the lowest motivation to turn out in this midterm, you think things are tough for you right now? Where do you think you're going to stand in a country in America where there's no democracy, where they have absolutely no interest or at all in respecting your rights? We've got to let these people understand that they've got skin in this game, and we got to scare the hell out of them, because quite frankly, Nicole, they should be afraid that we're going to lose our democracy.
Losing our democracy seems like too abstract a concept to be a viable political message to win back working class people who are concerned about the price of goods and maybe healthcare and maybe childcare and things like that. But what can I say? I'm not as brilliant as that guy, I'm sure.
So, let me get this straight. It's a tactic to make the people live in fear. Bro, are you kidding me? Like, it's funny they think we're that stupid, bro. Like, are you seriously? Like, I don't have eyes and well, I guess it works for a lot of dumbasses out there. But, bro, that is messed up. That they openly state we gotta make the people live in fear, bro. Oh my God. What the hell?
Robbie, black men and women of childbearing years are not scared enough. They just need to be more afraid. If they were more afraid, it would help the Democratic Party. Look, part of the issue here is that commentators like this, for reasons that we were talking about at a different point in the show, are so detached from working class issues that it's difficult for them to imagine that the priorities of a black man or a woman might not exclusively be criminal justice issues or reproductive rights. Not that the Democratic Party is really doing that much in the way of criminal justice issues or reproductive rights.
He didn't even say those things. He said like things that matter to political scientists or theory.
He's being a little cited women and black men. I suspect because he
put the fear in them. Put the fear.
Conservative policies, which is true, but it's too reductive. The average person, whether they be a woman or a black man or any other historically marginalized group, is also focused on the fact that the economy and wages are bound up in all of the persecution that they face. Okay, so we talk a lot about how in the reproductive rights space, Afro women can go to states where they still have the right to choose to get an abortion. Well, this is going to disproportionately, if Roe is ended, disproportionately affect working class women. When we talk about criminal justice issues, you get people like Philando Castile who end up getting shot, in part because they're pulled over by the cops so many times because of all the violations on their vehicle, because he can't get his taillight fixed because he doesn't have the money for all the citations. He's a cafeteria worker at a public school. You know, and Democrats never want to talk about those things. I mentioned in my radar
because they can't relate. They're rich.
The average minimum wage earner is a 35-year-old white woman, over a quarter of whom have children. You know, and so we could be talking about the American family. We could be talking about, you know, how to bring back, you know, even traditional values in a way that conservatives might like, because all the people who were the bedrocks of those families are unable to afford housing or even put food in their kids' mouths. But instead, we have these abstract principles like defending democracy. As though we're all columnists for the Atlantic.
Right. And the threat... Also, the threat that the Republicans have to cheat or something to win Like, that's not, they might just win. It's like, I know the fear is that Trump is going to run, be the nominee, and, have set up the system, or he has his most loyal people in the ballot. What if he just wins because everyone hates Biden and his policies?
He did win once before.
Right, he won once, and under circumstances that were probably more favorable to the other side than they are we don't know what he's going to face in 2024. So it's just not this idea that I think some Democrats, like the kind of people who are sometimes on The View and on MSNBC, have, that our policies are they're loved by our audience, I guess, our very elite audience. The only way we could lose is if there's cheating or it's stolen. But under the normal, or as close to normal democracy, we don't have a pure, obviously don't have a pure majority vote. We have the odd system we have. But under the odd system we have, Republicans could just win, and they could win decisively.
Yeah, and that you might actually
that
have
is
to
so
make a
ominous
case
how they
your base
they
to the
said
broader
this
American
before it
public
happened.
as to why you should win, instead of just saying
Scare
be
them
afraid.
more. Be afraid.
Be afraid. Bro, they can't relate because these people don't live in poverty anymore. They've been they're politicians, bro. They've had money. They live a good life. They're not really, they probably don't even know the price of eggs. They just pretend. They're not in the grocery stores with us buying. And if they do, it's probably pennies for them. Not like us that we legitly live check to check. And we see the effect. We got to sacrifice something to have another thing. And we always got to owe somebody money, because if we pay everything off, then we're broke. So they have no idea the truth that the people suffer, because they're not the people anymore. They're like on the top percent now. And they lost touch. Right, we're about to check out this channel. Dang, it's got 11 million views. So if you don't know about this, you're missing out. Everybody should know about this. 11 million? Bro, liberals how do you say that? Liberal hypocrisy is fueling American inequality. Here's how. Well, I never seen this. I never seen this. We're about to check it out. Let's see what he about to say to let us know. This is educate yourself, people. Both sides matter. You can't just look at the shadows and know everything. You gotta look at the light and the shadows, and you gotta look at the parts that are kind of like dim. And you gotta, you don't know nothing unless you look at everything.
There's a question I've had for a very long time, and it has to do with this map.
Okay.
This is a map of the 18 states in the U.S. where Democrats control the legislative and executive branches, or else have some veto-proof majority in the legislature. Democrats in D.C. often blame the GOP for foiling their progressive vision.
When middle-class families see their taxes go up, they'll know Republicans are to blame.
But if you zoom into these 18 states, there's effectively no Republicans standing in the way. So my question is, what do Democrats actually do when they have all the power? To answer this question, I teamed up with the Times editorial board writer Binya Applebaum.
I don't know.
You got my attention.
He's been thinking about and writing books about and reporting on this topic for decades.
Okay.
I think, Americans tend to view politics as a competition of us versus them. And they tend to think that if they would just get out of the way, then we can do the things that we want to do. There is no them standing in the way. There's just the we of Democrats and their supporters, and they get to decide what policy should look like in those states, and that is an opportunity for them to implement their vision.
For this story, I also delved into this giant document. It is the 2020 Democratic Party platform. If you want to really understand what Democrats say they want, what their vision is for America, it's found inside of this document. This document serves as a guide as we zoom into these states to answer this question.
Okay, I'm already seeing, so those documents are out there. You could check them out, apparently. But I already see kind of where this is going, and I'm not liking it. Let's keep looking.
What do Democrats really do when they have all the power?
Nearly 554,000 homeless people
from the 25 wealthiest Americans shows they're paying little in income taxes compared to their fortunes, sometimes nothing at all.
We cannot, in good faith, blame the Republican Party when House Democrats have a majority.
There's still very intense segregation happening in all kinds of forms all over this country.
Okay, so let's start with California. To me, California is like the quintessential liberal state. From the state legislature to the whole executive branch to most of the big cities, Dems hold majority control. So what do they do with all this power?
Looking at California, you have to look at housing.
Okay, now wait, listen. When I hear the words housing policy, I tend to sort of doze off. But Binya insists that housing policy and what is happening in California is definitely worth looking at.
You cannot say that you are against inequality in America unless you are willing to have affordable housing built in your neighborhood.
And Democrats completely agree. Here in this document, the word housing is mentioned over 100 times.
The neighborhood where you're born has a huge influence on the rest of your life.
Facts.
Children who are born in neighborhoods with degraded environmental conditions, with a lack of access to high-quality public services, poor schools, poor public transit, are at a permanent disadvantage.
And they even say verbatim, housing in America should be stable, accessible, safe, healthy, energy efficient, and above all, affordable.
Housing is a human right.
Housing is a human right.
The rent is going through the roof. Housing is a human right.
How does California do
when they say the same thing?
You know where those signs?
I already learned something. When they say the same thing, different people, different outlets, saying exactly the same thing, it's a script. It's a script. They're following a script, and it's part of the political plan. You know, so it's a farce. They're fooling. But what?
When you drive into a state, it says, "Welcome to California." They might as well replace them with signs that say, "Keep out." Because in California, the cost of housing is so high that for many people, it's simply unaffordable. The state has simply, for the most part, stopped building housing. I mean, there are cranes, there's housing going up, but it has slowed down over time really, really sharply, and it is nowhere near sufficient to keep pace with California's population. And so what you have is not enough housing and too many people trying to get it, and the inevitable result is that prices have gone up and away.
The median price of a home in San Diego County is now a staggering $830,000.
What?
All around California, there are cities full of people who say that they are progressive, they're liberals. They believe in a more equal America, a more diverse America. They show up to the marches, they put in the lawn signs about everyone being equal, but at the same time, they're actively fighting to keep their neighborhoods looking like this. Okay, wait, but that doesn't look so bad. It's just a bunch of houses.
Yeah, but that's not for us.
Right? No. It turns out that this is actually the result of specific policies, intentional policies.
Yeah, I
that
know
keeps
about
these
that.
neighborhoods spread out and full of single-family homes.
Yeah, I know.
As opposed to higher-density buildings like duplexes or apartment complexes.
Because they're not really
This is a
trying.
real serious fight, and you can get a glimpse.
So the way I see it is that these people do it for themselves. They want to feel good with themselves. Like, look, I grabbed the sign and I went out there and I pretended like I'm making a difference. And then I went home to my privileged life. But I did it. I went out there, but nothing happened, bro. You didn't do anything. Nothing changed. You just went out there because you wanted to feel good for yourself. So you're just as bad and as selfish as everybody else. You're just selfish. And they don't see it. They think they're doing a difference when they're really just patting themselves in the back. Oh.
Into it by looking at a zoning map. Yes, we're looking at a municipal zoning map of Palo Alto, California. Don't leave yet. This is really where it sinks in, so just stick around. So everything on this map that is yellow is zoned for single-family homes, like this and
That's
this.
a
One
lot.
family can live here. But here in Palo Alto, there are a lot of new jobs. This is a desirable place to live for new opportunities. Over the past 8 years, the San Francisco area has added 676,000 jobs, but only 176,000 housing units. So a few years ago, the city council voted to change the zoning of one section of the city right here.
Wow.
Specifically this 2-acre plot of land. They wanted to change it from low density housing to higher density housing so that they could build a 60-unit affordable housing complex
and just put
for
everybody
elderly members
in
of the
there.
community.
Just make a
Okay,
ghetto,
so they
why
changed
don't
the
you?
zoning. Start building the 60-unit complex. No. The overwhelmingly liberal residents of Palo Alto decided to hold a vote to overturn the decision, to revert it back to low-density, single-family housing. Back to yellow. And it passed. And the zoning was overturned. So now when you go to this plot of land, instead of an affordable housing complex
I'm
for the
telling
elderly,
you, they're fakers
what
and
you're gonna see
pretenders.
is this. A row of just a few houses, all of them massive and worth around $5 million each.
I think people aren't living their
They-
values. You go to these
They
meetings
literally
in these
have a
neighborhoods-
vote. They literally have a vote. And they show their true colors. The crazy thing about this is that apparently everything that has been, like what I'm understanding, is all the injustices that happen in liberal cities don't happen because of Republicans. They happen because of Democrats. And because they do it on purpose to keep the people living in fear. So they keep doing these things on purpose. Making people's lives like me shitty. So they could blame it on the Republicans and keep getting voted in. Because you see how your life is shitty? It's the Republicans' fault. So you could keep voting for me and I'll fix it. And they never do. And they just make it worse because that's their plan. That is messed up. At least that's what I am understanding. It's up to you if you want. You could go over here and check out the channel for yourself. And check this out. You could look it up. Bro, it's so real, it's not funny. Now, I just want you guys to know about this channel right here. He's called Brandon Lehman. That's how I could read it. And I love how he talks about stuff. I love how he talks about stuff that has to do with current policies and politics. This dude is really talented, and I encourage everybody to go subscribe. As you can see right there, I'm subscribed, and I always like his stuff. This kid is like, he's got potential, bro. We about to check out this video he did, a little bit of it. I don't want to steal the dude's content because that's not cool.
As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but let's start with hearing what I believe to be one of the foundational issues with the modern left.
The Western liberal mind conceives of itself as being good because it's liberal. The Western liberal tells him or herself, I'm a good person because I'm liberal, and I'm liberal because I'm a good person, which means that I believe in things like the brotherhood of man, conscience and compassion, looking after the wretched of the world, the poor and the wretched of the world, standing up against abuses of power. These are all good things, and that's why I'm a liberal. And I'm a liberal because of all these good things. So, one of the expressions of my goodness and my liberalism is that I support the Palestinian Arabs, who I think are an oppressed people, and they are oppressed by the Israelis, who have taken their land away from them, and they are oppressing them. Now, every part of that, in my view, is a lie. But put that to one side. This is what the liberal progressive thinks. And the liberal progressive thinks that supporting the Palestinians is therefore something that makes the liberal progressive a good person. October 7 happened, and suddenly you have a situation in which the people that the liberal progressive has supported as being oppressed, and everything they do is a legitimate defense or resistance against oppression, suddenly we can see that those people have turned into the most bloodthirsty savages that could ever be imagined. Not just people who kill, but who slaughter in a sadistic, barbaric, debauched and depraved fashion that people can't imagine ever happening. They have slaughtered, raped, beheaded, tortured, burned alive babies, children, women, elderly men, and others, and in which the people that they have supported as being oppressed are good people because they're victims, are these savages. And the people they have represented as oppressors are the victims. They can't have that. Because if they have that, if they admit that that is the case, then their entire worldview is shattered, because the people, you know, the cause they have supported as representing goodness is shown to be evil. And what does that make them?
So this is Melanie Phillips, and she's discussing why the so-called
Bro.
tolerant left would actually be supporting terrorist groups like Hamas. But her explanation for this one issue can be extrapolated to explain why the left takes the crazy positions that it does. The left engages in their radical policies because they think that they're good people doing a good thing, and they're so invested in the goodness of what they believe they're doing, they can't accept that actual bad outcomes can result from their actions. For instance, their whole support of the radical trans ideology, they justify it by saying, look at this fringe group that is obviously going through something. Let's affirm their confusion because it will make them feel good, without realizing all they're doing is sentencing that person to a life of anxiety and depression and confusion and severe mental problems, as these people daily face the internal battle of knowing that they aren't what they're pretending to be. So in order to alleviate this discomfort, they compel the rest of society to adhere to the same delusional worldview, the priority on acceptance over truth. And they have to tell themselves that this is a good thing, that they're doing the right thing. Otherwise, it's hard to justify encouraging children to take cross-sex hormones.
Okay, there you go. There's the channel in case you want to check this out. This was 1 day ago. As you can see right there, this is new. This is new news. And if we could see right here, let's check it out.
Well, just this afternoon, I received a copy of this video showing the exact moment the WSU student wearing a Trump hat was attacked. This video is from security cameras located across the street from the fight. Let's take a closer look. WSU student Jay Sani, you can see him walking toward the Coug from the left wearing a black backpack, and passes by WSU grad student Patrick Mahoney, who is wearing a white sweatshirt. Mahoney pulls off the student's hat and throws it on the ground. The student responds by throwing his food at Mahoney, and they begin to fight. Now, Mahoney leaves the area after giving a final blow to the student, who's left lying on the ground. Now, as we reported yesterday, Mahoney is charged with 4th-degree assault. Sani told me he is somewhat familiar.
Bro, hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Bro, is he wearing a hammer and sickle? He's wearing he's wearing a hammer and sickle, bro. He Soviet Union hammer and sickle right there. So it's funny, these people want to blame everybody, telling them they're Nazis, bro, but they want to oppress everybody to believe in how they believe. They want to literally push and bully everyone because they have to believe what they believe. That sounds awfully Nazi. Bro, it's simple, bro. The Nazis are known for killing Jews. And now you're supporting groups that kill Jews. I can't make these things up even if I wanted to, bro. Wow. Okay. A white dude, always white dude.
With Mahoney from previous political conversations on campus, but he says this encounter was unprovoked and it caught him by surprise.
I just wish like we were all like nicer to each other, and I wish that we should like respectfully disagree with people. I would never attack someone, if they were to wear like a Joe Biden hat, or even a.
So you telling me? You're telling me? On top of that, you're attacking an Indian dude. You're attacking one of these minorities you fight for. You attack an Indian kid, bro, because he was wearing a Trump hat. So, how is this not you being a white person, a white male, just taking advantage of your views, your religious, political views, to be racist against? How is this not just same as racist as everything else? You just using the excuse of your political lean to beat up an Indian kid?
Kamala Harris said, I would not do that. And I hope that the other side wouldn't do it either.
Now, Sonny says he plans to continue wearing his Trump hat. He recognizes it may provoke future political conversations, but they are discussions he says he's willing to have to find common ground. Amanda Rowley, Crime
So
News.
much for live free and happy, bro. So apparently they caught the dude, bro. Apparently this is the video of them catching up to the dude. Let's see what excuse, what mental jujitsu.
You're Patrick.
I'm Patrick.
Nice to meet you.
You're not fucking with me, right? Like, you said
I don't know how else official.
Okay, Andre. You said Andre.
Saint Andre. Yeah.
So what's the deal, man?
So you think because you're white, you're gonna get away with it?
I walked down. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Was he there?
He was there, right? So I walk down. I see old boy walking around, right?
Ooh.
He's got. I've seen this guy fucking on campus before.
Okay.
I know he's like fucking like right wing dude.
Okay.
He's got a fucking like Make America Great Again hat.
Okay.
Right? Pardon my French. Like, I'm not gonna actually take your hat off.
But no, don't touch it.
Okay, sure. That's probably not good.
No, it's not.
But for the thing, I like grabbed his hat, threw it, and I said like, go get it. You know what I'm saying?
How privileged do you have to be so comfortable around the police, bro? I would never. Police say, stop right there. Put your hands up. Bro, I'm like, dude, I'm not stopping and having a conversation with the police, bro. How comfortable? Like, I'm just going to pretend to grab your hat. Dude, that goes to show these people, they're so out of touch with the hood. They're so out of touch with life. They live such a privileged life and they want to walk around oppressing other people because of their dumbass beliefs, because they think they know they're righteous. They're more righteous and know better.
I'm like, you're fucking wearing that hat. You want it to fucking, you want someone to fucking look at it, right? I didn't fucking hit him. Didn't fucking,
that's not what I saw.
Like that. Took the hat, threw it, right? I was like, that's gonna be the end of it. Fucking, he's gonna pick up his hat. He's been gone, right? Do my thing. I threw it, and then I like heard him say something, turned around, and old boy, like fucking came at me. Fucking, I don't know to what extent he hit me or he body checked me. I don't know what he did, right? He can corroborate, right?
Body check me. Why is he trying to be a thug, bro?
Right? This is the first time where, like, I touched his hat, full. I admit to touching his hat, right? I didn't hit him, right? Like, I didn't do anything to him. As soon as I turned around, he hit me, right?
How did he hit you?
I honestly, like, cannot recall exactly.
You don't look hit.
It was either a body check or like a...
Oh, body check. What is this dude with body check?
You're doing a lot, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna like back up from you.
I don't want to see this guy in the hood.
Without, like, doing it,
he will not survive.
Like, it's my boy, you know what I'm saying? Like, And so I'm like,
he walked down
okay,
my
he hit
hood.
me, right? And immediately, he isn't seeing like what's going on, right? He just sees him hit me, right? So this stuff happens so fast, like, he just sees him hit me, right? I see, like, him basically protect me, right? Like, oh, this guy's attacking you, I'm gonna get you. Basically at the same second, like, as soon as he attacks me, I'm reacting, I'm grabbing him. I can't say, like, how exactly I reacted to him, but I can say, like, I grabbed him, right? We take him down to the ground, right? I give him a fucking shot, right, to be like, hey, don't fuck with me, right?
Where'd you hit him?
I think in the jaw. Yeah, like, so I'm
this
like, all right,
whole pretending
he's done.
to be.
I didn't hit him after that.
This whole pretending to be
I'm
stupid.
not fucking fuck this guy up. Like, I'm not gonna fucking stomp
Just
on him or anything
acting
like
like
that.
he's
Like,
some kind of tough guy.
He's done. He made it, like, from what I recall, like, he made it very clear, like, he's not fighting anymore. Like, he's done, right? Okay, cool. Fucking pick up my glasses, put them on.
Always white
fucking
guys, bro.
Walk away.
What is wrong with these white dudes?
He wanted to fight. He fucking got what was coming to him. We're done. We're gonna
He
walk
got
away.
what was coming to him.
Right? We walked away to Emporium.
Now he's in the police station with his buddy. He's a professor?
I think, like, on the verge of, like, unreasonable, but, like, I want to start a fight with this guy.
You made a comment about him asking for it because of the hat.
Yeah, not asking for a fight. Asking for, like...
Asking for what? If not a fight.
I think, like, I said, like, the hit here, like, if it's confrontation, to me, that's like...
What was he asking for?
What was he asking
right?
for?
Like, he was asking for, like, okay, you wearing the hat, like, it's gonna get tossed, then you deal with it, we're good, right?
Why? Why do you think everybody's gonna think like you?
Let me paint you a different picture.
Go ahead.
I really enjoy, I really like Nike. I prefer Nike. How would you feel if, when I see you wearing an Adidas sweatshirt down the street, I pull it off and you throw it?
I mean, like, pulling it off of me requires me to take it over my, like, head and my arms and stuff, right?
What is the difference?
I mean, like, I never touched this guy's arms. I never restrained him in any way, right? Like, as soon as it came off his hat, we kept walking. The video showed us, like, we kept walking. We didn't say, like,
It's funny. Just your point of view.
So let's switch it up then.
Sure.
You're wearing an Adidas hat.
I mean, like, do I think I have the right to start throwing hands? Probably not. I mean, like...
So you're saying if I see you wearing an Adidas hat walking down the street...
If you take it off of me and throw it, do I think I have the right to start throwing hands?
You're saying it's okay?
I'm not saying it's okay, but do I have the right to start throwing hands? I mean, I would not start throwing hands.
You have the right to defend yourself and your property.
I mean, like...
He's cooked!
Defending myself and my property.
He's cooked. There's no mental jujitsu you could do. You're cooked. Or is he? He's white. So clearly this is very strong subject. My experience so far here in America as a Hispanic man, which I'm not white, yo. I'm Hispanic. And you know, I never really suffered from persecution, basically, from Republicans. But I'm sure that if I just say the wrong opinion in front of Democrats, they're violent, bro. They're violent, and I don't want to end up I don't want to end up bodying someone because I'm trying to defend myself. I don't want to end up in the situation because I'm not a pussy, bro. I'm not just gonna take it, you know. So I'm gonna take you down. I'd rather not put myself in that position, but I know that you have to be really careful because these people just are violent, bro. I don't know what the hell, like why they get so violent. And it's easy to step away. You might be right, but you're so violent that I don't care. And it's easy to step away from people that are violent, bro. Because violence is unreasonable and should never be tolerated. Period. And there's a lot of things I agree with the Democrats, but the fact that they're so damn violent, bro, like, fuck it. I don't care. This is exactly the type of opinion that will get violence against me, no matter my ethnicity, bro. Because at the end of the day, they're just pretending. They're really racist, and they'll push me around just like they'll push anybody around. And then they turn around and they want to say that they care about minorities, which is it's a fucking lie, bro. But this is exactly why this channel will never get monetized by YouTube. So I encourage you guys to donate something. I got the buy me a coffee button right there. In case you want to be that cool and you want to support your boy right here. Reacting to videos that is just facts, bro. We all gotta like look at the whole picture to know what the hell we talking about. What the hell is going on. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all. I'm gonna leave it right there. Because it's up to you to educate your damn self. But I'm pretty happy that you came over here to see my opinion. Peace out, guys.